Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Charlie, and welcome back to Gunsmith. You guys wanted more? Okay, I hear you. Let's do a series on this. Let's see how far we can take this. If you haven't seen the Let's Try video, feel free to click the link in the description. Go ahead and check it out if you'd like to. This game is also available on my game store still, although the super discount that was there is no longer available, but I am selling this game on the game store still. So if you do decide you want it, you can click the link still, and you can still buy it from there. You're still helping to support me while getting the game. Okay. What's this game about? If you didn't see that video, I don't really want to make you watch the other video to get a gist of it. This is like a factory building. It's a factory building and logistics game that takes you through the path of an international arms dealer. Basically, we're gonna start small, making a single product, which is just some gloves. Eventually, we expand into full-out apparel for armies, military organizations, and black market or government. It doesn't really matter. We can sell to everyone if we want to. We can sell to both sides of the war, right? We probably will be. Eventually, we get into the more fun stuff, like making different kinds of bullets, making different types of weapons and guns, and ultimately explosives and stuff too, as an option later on. So there's a lot of things you can do in the game later on. We've only touched the surface of it in the last video, so now we're gonna have a nice big series for it. Let's hit a new game. Now, there are still these 4 scenarios, right? Road to Riches, Building a Name, Iron Age, Rise to the Skies. I don't know if, I don't know how these scenarios really change the gameplay for me, right? Like, do we start with, we've been dropped into the industrial world, research, invest, and build your factory from the ground, produce consistent quality, and doors will open success on their own. I think what these are is maybe just like, you start the same as you were before, but once you reach the goals, then the game is over. I don't know. I'm gonna keep to the world as my own because it lets me sandbox it without being sandbox, right? The difference between this mode and sandbox is that sandbox gives you unlimited money and resources, and everything is unlocked for you immediately. This, you at least have to manage the business and have that natural progression, but there's no goal in which you're successful. So you kind of determine when you're successful, and I like that much better. So we're gonna play. Now, last time when we did the previous video, I did the normal here, starting with 125K. And that was pretty challenging. It's kind of surprised me a little bit. But you know what? I'm gonna try hard. I don't know. I just feel like I want to. But just look at like the differences we have here. Like easy starts you off with 200K. Normal takes you down about 75,000, so less than half, or sorry, you still get more than half of easy, right? But then hard, it cuts you hard, dude. It takes you down to 50K. That's more than half your money gone from normal. All right, so we start with almost nothing here. And then there's Gunsmith, which if you're really good at this, I guess, if you've played it before, right? But anyway, it does say here you can continue to play and achieve more even after completing the scenario goals. So, like, at the same time, like, I don't know the point of the scenarios then. Like, it's like, okay, cool, I've got to 1 million. I can do that here, you know? I made this many bullets, these many 9mm things. Yeah, I can do that here, you know? So I'm just gonna play the world as your own. So hard, world as your own, go. Now, we're gonna choose a country. I'm gonna choose the United States. Feel free to choose anything else you wanted when you play. I was tempted to start in Russia and just sort of like role play it like I'm some sort of Russian organization against the United States. That sounds kind of fun to me as far as a role play perspective goes. And we might say that we're doing that, but our Russian organization that we are basing ourselves in the United States so that we can be close to our enemy, right? I don't know. So we're gonna stay United States. Let's go. Now, we're gonna be moving fast in this game. It might get confusing. I'll try to explain the best I can.
I know this has taken longer than expected,
there is a little bit of a story here happening with somebody talking over me right now. I am gonna go ahead and just try and cancel them. Mostly it's the story is our daddy died and they left us this estate and this factory and we could do what we want with it. And we've chosen to do this. We're also gonna get rid of the introduction and the tutorial, and I could explain it myself. So this game we're gonna move a little bit fast in the first video, and the only reason is because you can't pause it. So every second that ticks by is potentially costing me money. So I'm going to say we're going to go to research first. Our research budget is based on our total amount of money that we have. So right now, 0% of $50,000. If I want to do 10%, it's going to cost me $5,000 a day, but it's going to get us 125 RP. And I need RP. I need research, like bad, to make this factory do what I want it to do and make this as efficient as possible, okay? So we're going to want to get as many gloves as we can possibly make, all right? Because we're going to be making a lot of gloves. So the current orders are just for these camo gloves. And orders will periodically come in, and we can either accept them or decline them. Or not decline, we can decline them, get them off the list, but we can also just ignore them if we don't want to either. So we're going to be accepting a lot of camo glove orders because that's the first things that come in for us. And there's various different organizations, Russian civilian retailers, FSB, the US police forces want some gloves, the CIA, right? Lots of different people. We're going to be building up reputations with all of these different countries. Germany is on here, but you're not able to be them when you're selecting them. It's kind of interesting. So anyway, we're gonna have a relationship with these different places. And we already have a little bit of a relationship in the United States because we're based there. We can see a list of all of our clients here and the different countries and representatives, and we can get details on them going through here. We'll be building up reputation and statuses with these guys as we go. So if we're not fulfilling orders or we're catering orders, I guess, to their enemies in some situations, we may be losing progress there. Okay, so we want to have raw materials or resources, fabric sheets, and plastic blocks. I'm going to go to the market. I need to stock up on these just a little bit more. So I'm going to buy 200 of each of these materials. So we have raw materials for this. Now, if you're not used to this, maybe you're not familiar with factory games, or maybe you just didn't see the last video, that's fine. Basically, we're going to take raw materials, process those raw materials into products, finalize the products into boxes, and then we sell the product. Seems simple enough, but it's not. It gets pretty complicated, especially at higher difficulties where you need to be efficient in order to succeed. So these dispensers are going to output raw materials or processed products. They can output anything as long as it's not boxes. The box is the product. So at any stage of the production process, we can choose to have whatever that is added to an inventory and then output from a dispenser. Every machine and every belt costs maintenance per day and electricity, which is why being efficient is important, because if we're not efficient, we're not going to have a good time. So this dispenser, we're going to have it be fabric sheets. Fabric sheets are going to then get kicked over to the cutter, who are going to cut those fabric sheets into fabric gloves. Fabric gloves will then get processed into the merger machine, which will then be processed along with plastic fittings to make the camo gloves that we're going to be selling. Now, the plastic fittings, we're going to need another dispenser for that. So let's go ahead and grab one. And we can pop that dispenser here. Now this is going to get changed big time. Big time. Okay? I got a whole new setup for this that I want to do. But in order to do that, I need research. And I currently have 123 RP, so let's get started on research. The first thing I want to research here is the flow splitter. This is going to let me split the belts. Let me have product going from one place to another, right? Very important to have the flow splitters. We're definitely going to have that first. So let that go. Now you can't speed up the game. It's always the exact same speed all the time. I don't know how I feel about that, but it's always the same speed all the time. So you can't pause and you can't speed it up or slow it down. It looks like I can put it like closer to the wall if I want to. I'm going to have a couple more storage racks because we're going to be making so many gloves. It's just ridiculous. It's just going to be glove maker simulator is what this is. All right, that's going to be fine. Next, I want to reorganize these machines so that they're a little bit more efficient. We're gonna do that by let's expand this out. This is where our boxes will end up, and so we're gonna end up seeing things placed in these boxes. Let's go like here. Seems good. We're gonna have one of the conveyor belts enter here. This cutting machine is gonna be placed here. If I want something placed in the boxer without being sewn, I'll have it enter here past the sewing machine. Okay. Some of these machines, as we'll talk about in a second, some of these machines have processing times. Some of these machines are instantaneous and always working. And you want to, as best you can, double, triple, quadruple dip on the machines that are instant because they don't slow down your production at all. They just cost you money. So, yeah, the more you have. I'm going to put another belt right here and probably one more here. And you'll see why later. So new orders available. We are going to take pretty much all of these orders. I'm gonna accept all of these orders. Pretty much any order that's over, let's say 1,500. I'm gonna let these ones stew. They're pretty low value. And each one of these orders has a fulfillment time. So we have to fulfill it in a certain amount of days, hours, minutes, etc. Okay? Higher risk, high rewards. So this guy from FIS. He's in Germany, and he wants to partner with us, and he doesn't care about licenses or the law or anything like that, right? Again, we can cater to governments and be legit, or we can engage with more black market people. I am totally open to doing business with whoever would like to do business with us, okay? I am an equal opportunity supplier. All right, so I'm going to put some of these belts over here. Now, even though the belts are on the side, they're still costing me money. Each one of these belts costs $5 a day in maintenance and takes 3 power, okay? We have a power budget up here. Right now, our power budget is 200. That will need to be expanded as soon as I start doing, as soon as our research is done. No active research. I'm going to grab this, the line control capacity T1. Actually, I'm thinking about, do I start with recycle bins now or... No, I think I want... Yeah, you know what? Let's do the recycle bins now. Recycle bins they're basically broken. They're very good. So we're going to do this. Basically, how this works is the recycle bin, anything that drops into it gets restocked as an inventory item. Okay? Now, they cost money, but they don't cost power. So we have to maintain the recycle bins, but they don't add to our power consumption, unlike the belts do. So rather than having a product be transported from over here all the way over here, we just drop it in a recycle bin over here and dispense it over here. We can save on power that way. At least that's the hope. Okay, so we have the splitters. The belt splitters are a thing now. Should have that. So flow splitters. What I'm thinking of doing here, and I kind of want the 3-way splitter, but to start making product so we can start getting some money, I think it's probably best that we at least start making something at this point. Pull the belts over here, and let's talk about what's going where and why. So we have, I'm gonna move this again. These are not over far enough. Just put them over here, please. We have 1 cutter machine and 1 plastic former. The plastic former is responsible for making the fittings. Now the fittings, these plastic has to be heated first, heat level 1. How do I know all these things? Well, there's this wonderful, beautiful thing that we're gonna be looking at a lot called a cookbook. We're gonna click the cookbook, and here's all the recipes that we have access to. Camo Gloves is this one. This is gonna show us the process for creating camo gloves, okay? So we have 2 dispensers, each dispensing a different raw material. Those raw materials are processed in different ways, and eventually they end up next to each other and merged. Then we sew them together, and it gets boxed in the boxing machine. Okay? That's the process. And that's what we have here in front of us. We have 2 dispensers for different products. This one's gonna be doing plastic blocks. This one's gonna be doing fabrics. We have a heater here to heat things. We have a cutter, which is gonna cut the fabric into glove shapes. And we have the plastic former here, okay? All that stuff's good. Now that we have recycle bins, I say we set up our initial production. So, first thing I wanna do, I think, is I'm gonna bring, we can do it this way. Does it need to be this far out? I'm not sure. Let's see, this is the plastic sheets and this is the plastic blocks. I'm gonna switch these. I want the sheets to be on this side. Okay, so what we're gonna do is out of the gate, this is where the plastic blocks come out. If we take a look at the cookbook, we know that the blocks are gonna come out and they need heated right away, right? So we're just gonna knock this little heater right up next to the dispenser. Everything that comes out of it will immediately be heated to level 1. Okay, good. Next, we want to take all these plastic blocks and we want to cut them up. But the cutting and stuff, this all takes extra time, 2 seconds to do that. So if I'm dispensing 1 per second, right, and feeding them into here, it has 2 seconds to process that and a half a second to output. We're going to end up building up a lot of extra stuff in there. It's not efficient. So we're going to want to get another plastic former. And let's take a look at research really quick. No active research. We got the recycle bins now. That's great. Let's grab 3-way splitters. I want that too. We're currently at 187 RP. So I'm going to knock down the research to 0 for now, because I think we have enough to get going what we want to do. And that's costing me money every day, right? Now, our current expenses is $225 a day. This is the current amount of money we have. So as long as this is not higher than this, we survive another day in the black, right? That's what we want to do. So I'm thinking we're going to have a 3-way splitter pretty quick here. So I'm going to move this back even further. I think we need to. We'll see. We're going to have a 3-way splitter pretty quick here. And I'm going to prepare for the 3-way splitter. So let's get another plastic former. Probably spaced out about like this. Cutters. We're going to want you... Actually, we probably need to move you back even further like this, because the merger machines need space. Speaking of which, we're going to want 3 merger machines as well. So this is a big operation here, okay? We're starting this off real quick. All right. And we want to keep accepting orders. So available orders for gloves. We're just going to keep accepting all of them, because we actually have a lot of time. We have a lot of time to sell these, okay? I'm not worried about the orders expiring. Let's take a look at this really quick. If I order this by fulfillment time and put it in ascending order, we can see the order that's going to expire first each time. And this guy wants Camo Gloves too, accept that, fine. We can see the orders that are going to expire first. In this case, we've got this much time to fulfill this order for 200 gloves, okay? Now, do I have my 3-way? I do. So here's my 3-way splitter. This thing is super cool. What I want to do, I'm going to put you there, and put you there. So this is the dispenser for plastic blocks. They're getting heated, sent through here, okay? 3-way splitter. Then we're going to have them, actually one more bit of research I'd like is the little... Here we go. The little belts. These are the shorter belts. I'd like to get that too. So let's have that researching now. What we're going to want to do is we're going to send them into each of these, right? Now, we can't just do it straight up. And the reason why we can't just do it straight up like this is because these guys need to be able, mechanics need to be able to access the machines to fix them, which means I need a little bit of space between these machines to fix, in order for them to be fixed. About 1 meter is about what I've been able to test so far for that. So researching, not quite done yet. Let's get another 3-way splitter. Now I'm running low on cash, 12,000 bucks. Gotta watch that. Another 3-way splitter is gonna be here, and we're going to have this dispenser slammed in right there. That seems fine. And actually, I'm tempted to... I'm more than tempted. I'm going to do it. Let's have this actually scoot back just a bit. I want room to expand up here, because I might need to make more fittings and stuff later on. Okay, these are the plastic the cutter machines for the fabric. Same thing here. We need 3 of these, okay? So we're going to have... I think I actually need to move this a little bit further. I think it's a little bit too close still. I'm going to slide you this way. And let's slide you all the way over here like this. Like this. And like this. Yeah, just down the row here like this is fine. And we'll just butt you guys up like so. Okay, slide you over one more. We're gonna have to move these machines anyway. But This is like the outline, right? So now we want the cutter machines. We're gonna want 3 of these as well. So let's pop 3 of them onto the floor. We got $7,500 left. It's not a lot of cash. We're only losing $230 a day though before this is set up. So we've got time. Research is done now. Good. I'm gonna start on tier 1 line control. And we're gonna get started here with the smaller belts. So on this path here, what I'm gonna want is these little belts. Now, fun fact on this, using 1 2-meter belt for travel distance is better than using one of these, or better than using 2 of these if you can, because this takes less than this takes less than double the maintenance cost and less than double the power, but it goes double the distance. So using 2 of these is bad compared to using 1 of these. But if you have to use 1 of these, then that's the way to go. So I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna go like this. Okay? Now, I just got done saying using 2 of these is bad, but in this situation, for saving time, it actually saves me a little bit of cash. Like it logistically does, because I'm able to keep them close to each other. So we'll do that. And these things are able to keep being repaired, right? They have space so they can be repaired. Now, rather than delivering them to the merger machines directly, we instead are going to deliver them to recycle bins. That way, when we start forming the plastic, which is what we're about to do, we can start getting the plastic fittings and they all get delivered to the baskets, okay? Next, we're gonna do these. Same story over here, although we're probably gonna need the bigger belts this time though. So go this way, go this way. This one will go forward. This one will go forward, and this one will go forward. And then we wanna hook this up and line this up like this. And we probably wanna extend this a little bit further actually. Yeah, we're gonna wanna extend this because we want them to be able to repair it later on. I think, can we get away with this? We should be able to get away with this actually. Kind of a middle ground from what we had before. I can't quite see if that's... All right. That should work. Yeah, that should get delivered just fine. And there is room on this side and this side to repair. So, same deal here. We want recycle bins. There, there, and there. We only got $2,000 left. The last step, right? The last thing I want is I want a dispenser on this side. Is that what I want? Hang on. I want another 3-way splitter, actually. Another 3-way splitter goes here. I think it goes here. I could do it on this side, too, though. No, we're going to do it on this side. Another 3-way splitter here. We got 41 bucks. Okay, we're like, oh my God, we're in debt. Don't worry. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. We're going to go this way with this belt. We're going to go this way with this belt. And then we're going to go up the middle with this belt. Okay, and now we need to readjust the alignment on these. Actually, I can just scoot this over. Yeah, let's just scoot this over. Oh, move it like there. There, and there. Okay, that feeds into there. This one's gonna feed into there. And this one's gonna feed into this one. Now, nobody can repair this. It's not reachable. So we have one machine that a mechanic cannot get to. That's an acceptable thing. I'm okay with one machine being that way. We're gonna have this belt going this way. Right? Yep. And then we're gonna need to access one more belt for this side. Yep. And then we're just gonna take probably just one more belt actually. So these 3 belts will go like this. Now we need 2 dispensers. This is the final bit here. One here and one here. This dispenser, we don't have anything in inventory for these yet. So what I want to do is get a line controller. So let's get, not a television, a line controller. We're going to add a station over here temporarily. Let's staff it and add machines to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11. We can do 12 per station now, and that's what I want to have happening here. So I'm going to tell them to turn that on, but I don't have the power for that. It takes 181 power to turn that line on. So the last thing we need is electricity. And I'm going to stick that right there for power capacity. All right. Now, we have a repair tool, and a lot of our stuff just constantly needs repaired. I think it needs repaired too often, to be honest. But if you do it yourself, just by clicking on them, it doesn't look like it costs you any money. So I'm going on that, hopefully being true. Let's turn it on, and we can start getting raw materials processed. So let's see how this works now. We have... I'm still in repair mode here. Hang on. Okay. We have plastic blocks being distributed. Yes, old friends. I knew this was coming. That's why I did this. You're like, why are we in debt? It's okay. So old friends. An old square-faced gentleman came today. His face was harsh and yet soothing and calm. He probably saw too much in life. He talked for a few hours. He's an old friend of my father's, a proud soldier. Gerard is his name. He was quite secretive about my father's old business, but he offered me some financial help to gift, like a gift for friendship's sake. So he comes with 15,000 bucks as a gift. Hey, thanks, man. Now we got 8 grand. All right, so plastic block here. That happens whether you're in debt or not. I didn't like abuse debt or anything. You're gonna get that anyway. Comes through here, heats it up. That heats it to level 1. We get the 3-way splitter to get to the cutter machines. And then the cutter machines are gonna drop it off here. Now these are actually a little bit too... I do need to scoot these a bit actually because of repairs. We need to have room for repairs to happen. So I'm gonna scoot this just a little bit. About like that. Come like this, like this. Just basically everything gets scooted down from where it was. All right, and like that. Nope, a little bit over. Like that. There we go. Let me scoot this stuff back too. Because we want the mechanics to be able to reach this machine. We don't want it to be right on top of it. And there's space right here, we're good. Okay, so this guy is, we're having all this stuff made for us right now. That means these materials are getting put into inventory. Plastic fittings and plastic and fabric gloves. They're all being put into inventory right now. We can distribute those through the dispensers. So this dispenser, for example, can kick out gloves. This one can kick out the fittings, okay? We just need them hooked up to a line. So let's do that. We're gonna grab another line. We're gonna add a station for another line. I'm gonna add this guy, I don't know, we'll put him over here. It's fine. We're going to staff it and then add machines to the station. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's probably good for now. Those 8, okay? Good. Then we're gonna turn it on, but we don't have enough utility capacity to turn it on. So we're gonna come over here and put one more power down, okay? All right, we should have capacity to make tons of gloves now. We should. I'm not sure why we don't. Why does it say we don't? You know what? Here, let's try something different here with this. I think it's a very small amount of power. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's a very small amount of power. Let's try, I don't have enough people to, it's a power thing. All right, new plan. We're gonna ditch this one. This is one of the things where it's like, it worked in testing. It's not now. So I'm still high on power just a little bit. So why don't we just for now remove this And we'll stick this right here. You want to do this as little as possible. And I mean this by deleting things. You want to delete things as little as possible because deleting things, you only get half your money back. You know what? This belt here, I'm going to shut down this line. Shut down, power everything off for a second. This one's going to move. I'm going to delete this belt. Put in a small one instead. Right here. And then just put that right there. There's no reason it needs to stick out, and that saves me a little bit of power. I don't want to buy another power station. That's what I'm trying to avoid. I mean, technically, if I gave this more room, I could have gotten rid of one of these belts, but I didn't. So there's that. That's just the way it worked. Okay, so what I want to do now, let's turn this group on. This is the group that's going to make the gloves, right? So we already have some of the raw materials and resources, fittings and fabric gloves, right? We already have these. This is going to come down the line, get separated, and then it goes out and gets merged into these machines, as long as they're set to output Camo Gloves, which they are now. So there we go. Yeah. Okay. So it takes these things a half a second for the output and a half a second for the crafting speed. 1 second per glove, okay? Each one of these is 1 second per glove. Now, this isn't super optimized since it's coming out of here every half second. So we basically have 2 coming out per second, but we can make 3 per second. We have capacity for 3 per second. Thing is, the extra power consumption that we would get and the maintenance costs that we would get for trying to get a little bit more in this, it just isn't worth it. So we're not going to bother with it right now. We're going to leave it just like this. Okay. Now that we can make a little bit of money and satisfy some orders, the boxer machine is working. It's kicking out boxes of stuff. And we're going to look at inventory. We're going to see that we have 80 camo gloves that we can sell. Let's take a look at our orders. So right now, we have to satisfy this order in a very short amount of time, actually. We don't have a whole lot of time for this. This is that new guy that just approached us. So we need to step up our game on this, like, pretty rapidly. And I don't have the power capacity. I really did not want to go put another power down. Because I don't think this is necessarily the right time for that. But I don't have a choice. I have to make stuff to stay afloat. So we're going to do this. Because I need to sell stuff. So now that I have the power capacity, please turn all the machines on. And just like that. Yeah, we're only 4 power over, honestly. If I could have maybe gotten rid of one of these belts. Maybe I can. Stick this through this way. Maybe I can. But I already spent the money on the power anyway. Does it cost me... What is the maintenance on this? What does it cost me? So it's going to cost me $35 a day, but I already spent $2,000 on it. So like dropping $1,000 right now, just losing $1,000, it doesn't seem very appealing to me, so I'm going to pass on that. Okay, so we are constantly producing stuff as long as we have stuff in inventory, and that's where the market comes in. So we're going to buy stuff. It's going to put us in debt, but now that we're able to kick gloves out this fast, it shouldn't be too long before we're back in the positive territory for everything, right? So they get boxed up, they come down the ramp, and then they just disappear, and they're actually going on these shelves. This is our in-stock inventory. They go on the shelves. And if we just add shelves, then it's the same as, you know, the game is just allowing us to store more, you know, if we do that. Making sure all my machines work. Well, as long as these things are kicking things out steadily, it will work. And you can kind of see how they sort of share space on the same conveyor belt. And then they can just get distributed, right? One fitting, one glove, one fitting, one glove. Over and over and over it goes, right? It comes through the belt. And all of these things require one stitch. So if you take a look at the cookbook, you're going to see that after they get merged, it requires a stitch to go to the box. You can also tell that by clicking the boxing machine and seeing this, S1. Sewing level needs to be level 1. Eventually, we'll start doing backpacks, combat boots, trousers, etc. And all of this stuff, it's S2 for the backpack, S1 for combat boots, S2 for the trousers, plus Z2, that's zipping level, because eventually we're going to unlock zipping machines as well. Okay, orders. We have a little bit of extra time to fulfill this. It seems like it's getting down there. Like, oh my God, it's like 5 minutes. That's a lot of time, actually. This is a lot of time to work with. Because we're almost able to fulfill it now. And this is going to give us 4,500 bucks, which gets us back in the black. Back in the black. Yeah, just like the song. And then once we do that, I think I might go ahead and move these down. We'll see. The next thing we're going to need to look at is, for research-wise, I want to get the maintenance cost reductions. Would be nice to have, but I'm also looking at line control capacity T2. This makes the lines able to control 14 machines, which would mean, I believe, let me double check. So these two here are controlling 11 and 8 respectively. If I up their capacity to 14, it means I can do, I'm trying to think of how this works. I'm going to be able to do the trousers, the boots, and the backpack. I think I'll be able to do the trousers, the boot, and the backpack with only one additional station being added, which will be great. Because that also means less employees, right? Now, these guys are bored out of their mind, not very productive. I don't really know if it's worth it, but I'm deciding right now to give them additional things. We're deciding things. Look out, folks. We're making decisions. And you can have all of this stuff. There you go. Now, I don't know this area of effect thing, right? It's like, it only affects people in a certain area. I'm going to go ahead and put it here. How about right here? And then I'm also going to move this over. Stick a chair here. I like this arrangement. Stick a chair right here. And I'll stick a chair on this side too. It's a nice little break room, okay? It's a nifty little break room. It looks like it doesn't quite... It's not the edge. It looks like the entire thing has to be. I can't tell why it's being affected. Like right now, that couch is not being affected. But here it's not. Here it's not. Where is it? Yeah, right? Yeah, here. I could just put it on top of the table. That would have been cool if I could have. I'll put it over here. It only affects the chair over there. Well, here. Let's move this. Move this over here. Move this. I don't want to do that though. All right, you know what? That chair's gone. I didn't want to delete the couch, but oh well. Put this in the corner. Now it affects both couches. That's better. Slide it over, it'll get the chair too. Okay, good. So let's see what progress we have on our orders. We have only 2 left. It's like 2 minutes to fulfill this, but we're already, look, we have 840 out of the 500 required. Fill the order. Done. Now we're profitable. Now we can sell this and sell that one. And just like that, we're out of stock. But we have $5,200 left now and solid production of gloves all the time. Provided, of course, we set up marketing, or our marketer. So the market is where we buy our raw materials. We're constantly using those raw materials, although it's looking to me like somehow we're managing to get more of them sometimes. That's a bit weird, but okay. We can set up automation rules on buying and selling so that we don't have to manage this. So for example, buying. I want to buy fabric sheets. Let's say I want to buy 300 of them under the conditions that our current quantity is less than, let's say, 60. And the price of that item is less than or equal to $4 per unit. Because right now it's at $3 per unit. So if it goes to 4, I'll still buy it. But if it gets to 5, I don't want to buy it anymore, right? And then maybe I'll run out and it'll be like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I don't exactly know why I wouldn't want to buy it, because I feel like it could still be profitable even at 5. But it is what it is. We do the same thing for the plastic blocks, okay? So we'll go with 300 of them. Is that what it was? And this is when our quantity is less than 60, and also the price is greater than or equal to 4, let's say. So there we go. I also want to allow this process to happen if we have negative funds. I still want you to order it because I don't want to have production slow down, okay? The only thing left to do at this point is, well, one, we want to fulfill as many orders as possible, so we'll do that. And we have tons of time to fulfill these, right? So we'll just keep fulfilling these while we expand other things. Now, I want to be able to do research. I do. And if I'm looking at research here, I have 82 points left. So we could unlock the zipper. Once you unlock something, orders for that something begin to show up. And this is important to note because right now, we have a steady flow of orders for gloves. Like, we can take all these gloves orders all day, right? And all the new orders that come by, they're all going to be for gloves. That's all we can make right now. But as soon as I unlock the ability to make other things, those persistent orders that start showing up to pay us will start showing up. And we only get a limited number of these every day showing up. So if I accept all of these, there's probably only going to be 2, maybe 3 that show up in the next little interval, right? New orders in 1 minute and 1 second, right? And if they're showing up for things that I'm not prepared to make, then I have the opportunity cost involved in not having an order for something that I have in stock. So I want to make sure that when I activate, when I research zippers, or when I research, for the camo boots and all that stuff, I want to make sure that I'm ready to actually make those things, right? And plastic fittings are going to be used for a lot more things than the glove-shaped cutouts are. So we're going to eventually have one more of these. I'll probably put it here and have it face that way. We'll be having 6 times, instead of 3 times, we'll have 6 times the plastic fittings, right? Let's take a look at repair tool really quick because some of our stuff is deteriorating. And I'm just going to fix it manually for a little while because hiring the mechanic is, well, it's expensive. So, but this is how machines break, and you don't want machines to break. We'll just fix a few of these things now. Okay, so this is a good first episode. I know it kind of restores us to the point where we were in the last video, but I think you can understand why I wanted to redo it. I think you can understand like why I wanted to like start over again, right? And yeah. So when we come back for the next video, I'm gonna have a lot of orders fulfilled for gloves, right? A whole bunch of gloves are gonna be sold, and we're gonna start with some money because we're not in the red at all, right? We have lots of power capacity to expand our empire, right? And then eventually I want this to be moved down because I'm going to have additional machines set up here for our next bit. And they are going to send materials towards the boxing machine. And we're going to try and see if we can't double dip on the sewing machines and stuff too. But that's all set up for the next video. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. This is the first video of a new, officially a new series. So any help that you can give it matters greatly to me. And again, if you're interested in buying the game, you can still get it on my game store. Link in the description down below. I appreciate you guys. I'm excited. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.